I love the pragmatism the Dutch bring to transport and new technologies. So it made me wonder if the same ingenuity is applied to that quintessentially Dutch way of getting around, cycling. Utrecht transport engineer Frans Jan van Rossum decided there was only one way to tour his city.
So tell me a bit then about this bridge and these cycle lanes here.
Yeah, well, this used to be a car-oriented street. Lots of cars running through the streets, also lots of bicycles before, with cobblestones. And we wanted to better this infrastructure for cyclists. And this is connecting our newest suburb of Leidse to the inner city. And this is the busiest cycling point in the whole city.
How busy are we talking about?
On this route, there's an average of 34,000 cyclists per day, east to west. And we have a peak, one day in summer, 41,000 users per day.
41,000 people passing this point every day.
Those are numbers that you normally see only on highways, car highways, this large number of cyclists.
So I mean, in theory, that's taking up to 41,000 cars off the road.
Yeah.
Okay, Fran, so should we head on, I suppose?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Hopefully. Franz, I mean, this is all wonderful and it's beautiful, but it feels like it must cost an absolute fortune.
Well, it costs a lot of money, of course, but compared to car infrastructure, it's nothing.
Wow.
So a bridge for cars like this, for 2 lanes, will cost you probably twice as much or maybe 3 times as much.
And do you have an annual budget for investing into cycling infrastructure?
Yeah, I have a 4 annual budget, 4 years, and the budget in total is 190 million euros.
So it's around about 50 million euro a year?
Yeah.
So then, tell me a little bit more about this 50 million. It just seems like a lot of money to me.
Yeah, well, in absolute terms, maybe a lot of money. But if you see what the societal benefits are of these investments, they are huge. We calculated in total annual 250 million benefits, societal benefits per year.
So you're putting in 50 million and you reckon you're saving 250 million?
Yes.
How is that possible?
Well, it's possible because if you calculate how much money you earn because you have less traffic jams, you have better health for people who use the bikes. If you all calculate it together, we have a model for that, then you come up with the amount of 250 million euros just for the city of Utrecht. More and more people want to live in cities, and the problem of moving around is getting more and more important. How do you do that? Can you facilitate it with cars? No, it's impossible. There's not enough space. We have a medieval town with very narrow streets, and it's not possible for everybody to go there by car, simply. That's very simple. So I think the last maybe 10 years, especially in Utrecht, mobility products have been turned towards cycling more and more and more. No, and actually the car drivers, they benefit the most because there's not so much traffic jams.
Our bike trip around town was an enlightening experience. Cycling here is treated as an equal. It's just another mode of transport, and the evidence is in the planning and investment. The transport system is so well designed here, with so much choice, that cars are now banned from some city centre streets. And instead of opposition, shops and cafes once reluctant are now asking for more pedestrianised streets, as business has never been better.
I'm here in Utrecht, which is about half an hour south of Amsterdam. And what I'm finding is it's not just taxis and it's not just cars, but an awful lot of public transportation system is also electrified. Right here, there's an induction plate on the road. And as the bus pulls in, which is pulling in right now, we're going to see passengers getting on and off, but the bus is actually charging itself up off the road as this is happening.
It's obvious that the Dutch are reaping the rewards from their investment in clean, sustainable transport infrastructure.
The Netherlands is proving that transport can be sustainable, but it's not just one thing, it has to be an entirely integrated system. They have so many electric cars here, they have buses that are starting to be electrified, and everybody seems to cycle everywhere. And the cities have a great feel about them. They seem to be a really nice place to live and they work together. This is a template that we could bring anywhere, and it's really inspirational.
Back here in Ireland, we're starting to see some of these concepts take hold. With its new line, the Luas now crisscrosses Dublin and is taking thousands of cars off the road. There are also new car sharing schemes like Yuko and GoCar, which are spreading across the country. The average cost of keeping a car on the road in Ireland every year is around 11 grand. Now, I don't spend that much myself, but that's still not cheap. If we only paid for cars when we actually used them, it would completely transform our towns and cities. Bike sharing schemes have rolled out to Limerick, Galway, Cork and Dublin. These are offering a viable alternative for short hops if you're lucky enough to live near them. But while these are all great schemes, combined they're only transporting a small fraction of the population. I had to ask Brian if he felt we were doing enough.
Do you think that we are going fast enough?
No, I don't think we're going fast enough at all. I think we really need to accelerate how quickly we invest in public transport. That has a better return rate, and it has a better return rate in terms of decarbonising. I think we should really consider whether we build more motorways in this country. I don't think that's a road we should be going down.
Tell me a bit about who the onus is on to fix this. It doesn't seem like there's one easy answer. Is it my job? Is it your job? Is it the government's job?
It's everyone's job, and the government and the state should be there to facilitate this. There's an awful lot of good policy coming out of the Department of Transport at the moment, but it needs to be funded.
But even with these costs, are we saving down the line? Do we have to make this investment?
Yes, we do. We have to make the investment. If we look at the storms that happened recently, Ophelia and Storm Brian, the cost of repairing from those is so high, and if these events are going to destroy our cities, we need to think about the cost of repairing our cities. So the cost of moving towards public transport and decarbonising our transport fleet should be offset against that.
We don't need to look further than Ireland to see the early effects of climate change. In only a few months of 2017, we witnessed roads washed away, flooding across the country, and even a hurricane. To have any chance of stopping climate change spiralling out of control, we need to rapidly reduce emissions around the world. And here in Ireland, we're not doing nearly enough. Personal responsibility and making the right choices will get us some of the way. But to bring about the scale and speed of change required, it must be matched by investment. Getting this right is not just an investment in the future of transport or even our economy. It's an investment in our environment and in a brighter future.